What is up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we're back on Need for Speed 2015, and today I'm going to go ahead and explain about how I drift in Need for Speed 2015. Now, this may not be the best method of drifting, I'm sure there's better ways out there, but this is how I've learned to drift in my 500 or so hours of playing Need for Speed, and this is how I would recommend you guys to do it as well, obviously, if you're playing on console. Now, if you're watching this down the line in the future, and you're on PC, this may well work for you also, especially if you are using a controller, but this is some of the key notes I have found to make your drifting experience much easier, much better. So hopefully at the end of this video you are a better drifter than you are when you started. But anyway, let's go ahead and get straight into this video. So firstly, I should get all the obvious stuff out the way. This video is mainly to do with the technique, not the tuning, not, you know, how you should set up your car, that kind of stuff. It's mainly about the actual technique, but I will quickly go over how you should set up your car. Now, one thing I've found about people who play Need for Speed is they're very, very wary of using the master slider. Now, if you're not confident with using all the individual sliders, go ahead and just use the master slider. It really doesn't matter. You'll find that there's only going to be ever so slight tweaks you can make anyway. So if you were literally just to slide all towards the left and then make little tweaks, that is only ever so slightly better than actually using the master slider and putting it all the way to the left. One piece of advice I would give you is make sure you have brake drifting on and make sure you have drift ability assist off to go ahead and do some of the techniques that I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. In terms of what car you should run, I have found that the Huracan and the 911 are my two personal best cars, with the Huracan being much better than the 911. I would personally recommend the Huracan because, again, it's a very good car, but really, it's whatever you want to use. I'm assuming if you do get used to it, you could probably use whatever you wanted. I've used the R32, and that's an amazing drift car. But for this video, we're going to go ahead and use the Huracan. So the first technique we're going to go ahead and discuss is the flip flap. I mentioned this in a video a few days ago. Basically, the flip flap is when you get your controller and you move the stick very, very fast from the left to the right. Now, I'm going to quickly go ahead and show you what that would look like with a PS4 controller for this video. So you're literally going into a corner, left, right, and then you can see the back end comes out. Now, it does take a bit of skill and it does take a bit of getting used to, but once you get used to actually combining the drifts and linking the drifts, you can get upwards of 100,000 points when you link. Like, I've had many opportunities where I've actually got 200k points plus actually using the flip flap technique, and I found that this is the best way to combine your drift points when you're drifting into corners and whatnot. And I found this is probably the best way to actually drift generally, you know, when you're entering corners, whether you're switching your weights, or whether you're going into the left corner and switching to the right, so all the weights on the right side of the car. I found that this is the best way to do so, and this is my preferred method of drifting overall. Tight corner, you may or may not need to use the handbrake. Obviously that's square or X depending on, you know, the console you're on. You may or may not need to use this. You may or may not need to let off the throttle, press the brake. It all depends on the corner you're taking, and that's judgments you're gonna have to make yourself. But as far as the flip flap technique, that's basically all you need to know. Now, you will find the flip flap doesn't work in certain situations, and I can't really list all of those because they vary depending on what road you're taking and the degree of the angle and the speed you're going at, but it doesn't work all the time, whether that's due to the trajectory or the speed, etc, etc, and that's when you're going to need to use brake drifting. Now, a lot of people don't like brake drifting for some reason, but if you want to be good in drift mode, or in drift modes, you need to use brake drifting. All it basically enables you to do is take corners at high speeds, especially in toge events. This helps a load. You'll find that in toge events, when you're going into corners and you're taking corners at really like sharp angles at high speed, you're going to be racking up those points real fast, and obviously it's going to help you get to first, which is going to bring up that multiplier. So brake drifting helps. My advice is you turn it on. If you don't, you may struggle and not get better results, but yeah, brake drifting is a must. In my opinion, at least. You can probably do it without it, but I definitely suggest doing it with brake drifting. And other than that, it's really just practice, practice, practice. It's really, really corny, it's really, really cheesy, and it's kind of just your stereotypical answer, but it's true. You're not going to become amazing at drifting overnight. It's going to take a lot of practice. Eventually you'll get there. It's honestly not that hard, to be honest. It's definitely something which you can learn over time and become better at. I feel like Need for Speed isn't an impossible game to drift on. It's not like, I don't know, some sim races. It's an arcade race for a reason. It's not supposed to be ridiculously hard, but if you do want to get those ridiculous points on, you know, toge events and drift events, it's going to take a while to get used to. I believe my highest score on maximum attack is like 1.4 million, so it's quite a lot. I'm quite good at the game, and you know, it didn't just happen overnight. It took me ages to get that score. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found it useful, hit the like, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. You guys have been awesome. Stay safe and peace.